Hey there, Rod Buckton here. Thanks for the opportunity to present today. Really excited to be here. Today something very different, something really different. A friend of mine suggested, why don't I look at doing some cooking, a cooking segment, something that I haven't done before. Basically because so much of what I do, what I coach, is based around nutrition and what we eat. So important. So I thought, okay, let's go. So for today, I've rolled out a quick, easy breakfast recipe that my family loves, my kids love, super easy. Wanted to share with you today just to kick off before our presentation begins. So what have we got? Banana pancakes. 2 ingredients, couldn't be easier. A couple of eggs, a couple of bananas, make sure they are really ripe bananas. What we want to do is drop those in a bowl and fork mash those, mash them really well and beat them up, and then we'll get things moving. I'm just going to pass these on to my beautiful wife. She's going to cook them while I do this presentation. Just give me 1 minute. All right, thanks again. Back to the presentation. While they're off cooking, let me talk to you about a few things. Today, I want to introduce my family and a number of things that I love to do on weekends when I'm getting out to enjoy myself. And a little picture of our little furry friends asleep on the lounge there also. Bit of background to my working life. I first started working in my family business, Wiggly Tail Pork Chop Shop in Laurelton, and this photo here is myself and my sister just restocking some of the small goods that we had in one of our front displays. From there, I moved to study and working as principal of an architecture firm, and we built, designed, project managed lots of big stuff, big stuff. Big industrial sheds, some retail stuff, a lot of Aldi stores, lots of commercial, all that sort of thing. So little snapshot there. And then quick photo there of a major change that occurred in my life. Mentioned it before, a tick bite that brought my world to a halt, turned it upside down, but then started to rethink the way that I live, the way that I eat, the way that I exercise, and led me down a new path of study all the way through to being a lifestyle coach as I am today. So let's get started with the presentation. First and foremost, a video from the Australian government about mental well-being.
Coronavirus is changing the way we live, work and communicate. Changes can be hard, so it's vital to take care of ourselves and others. Prioritising your mental health is important. To help, there are some things you can do, like eating well, keeping active, talking with family, friends and neighbours via phone or video calls, and making a new daily routine. Together, we can help stop the spread and stay healthy. Visit australia.gov.au to learn more. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
And I just wanted to draw your attention to this slide in particular. As is correctly mentioned, we need to eat well and keep active. We all know that. Super important, particularly in shutdown mode as we are now. Lots of social isolation, living at home, doing a lot of things very differently to what we have done before. But what is eating well? Let's have a closer look at that. First up, a couple of slides on typical Australian diet. And this is not rocket science to anyone. I'm sure many of you can relate to this. This is how I used to live my life years ago. So from the top, brekkie, a couple of wheat bix, bit of milk, bit of sugar, banana, some orange juice, bit of toast, a cup of tea or coffee just to kick off the day. Lunch, you might have a few salad sandwiches, different toppings, different fillings, that sort of thing. Weekends, you might just back off a little bit of meat pie, tomato sauce, can of soft drink. Dinner through the week might be lasagna with a bit of salad or a bit of veggies and a few different things like that. Weekends, again, back it off a bit, just take it easy. A few rewards if you like. A burger and chips or a bit of pizza, just get a bit of takeaway, that type of thing, and a couple of drinks, might be a glass of wine or a few beers, and a few little sweets along the way, a couple of bickies, crackers, and all that sort of stuff. And as I said, that's not rocket science to you. You probably know, you may also live like that. That's fairly typical of most Australian diets, as I see today as well with a lot of people that I coach when they first come to me. The Australian government has issued guidelines, and this is quite different now to that little pyramid diagram that many of us used to see years gone by on the side of the cereal boxes. This diagram, the pie-shaped chart, as you can see, gives a bit of an idea from the government's perspective about what we should be eating from a balanced nutrition, a balanced diet point of view. As you can see, working around the chart from the top left corner there, you've got a whole range of different breads and a few pastas and rice, things like that, going around anti-clockwise. Going around clockwise there, you can see top right corner, you've got a few vegetables and things. Going around a bit further, lots of fruits. Down the bottom segment there, you've got some packaged foods, some processed stuff. Moving around, a few fish, meat, chicken, vegetables, lentils, that type of thing. Along the bottom, you're getting towards, a lot of the drinks and snacks and all that sort of stuff that many of us like to eat as a bit of a treat every now and then. But when you have a close look at that, when you boil it right down, a huge chunk of that diagram, of that suggested eating, is carbohydrate. If we do a bit of an overlay, you can see a big portion of that is carbohydrate. Big question mark in that. Big question mark. This diagram, as you can see, and I'll explain to you briefly, gives a correlation between years along the bottom and other side is prevalence of obesity. As you can see, the lines are fairly horizontal to a point, and those lines represent men and women of different age groups across the years. As I said, we run along to a point, and then there's a huge inflection in those lines around about the mid-70s, where that arrow was pointing to. And you can see at that point, there's a big uplift in the number of people that have become obese from their lifestyle. And very interesting, when you boil that down, understand a bit more about it from a historical perspective. At that point, it's a time in which most governments in modern Western countries, as we are living in Australia, USA, things like that, governments started to promote low-fat, high-carb diets. Something that we've all heard about for years and years, all occurred basically at that point. And as you can see, big upswing trajectory on that front. The next slide here, again, similar diagram, similar idea, but now we're looking at the average weight, men and women, increasing over time per country. And as you can see, most Western countries and even Eastern Asian countries also following a similar path now. Big concern, big issue.